Hi guys, today I'm going to be showing you how to make George, and I used pink or really light pink. I mixed white with pink to make the face and the arms and the legs, and a lighter blue for the body. And if you want to make Mr. Dinosaur, you can do that by following the link in the description below, along with Peppa Pig. So let's get started. Let's make the head. I'm going to use this light pink, which I mixed white and some darker pink, so you can take whatever size you want. Warm it up in your hands and roll it into a ball and get it nice and smooth. Your fingerprints will get all over. Mine always does. That's okay. And once you get it into a ball, we're going to shape the nose. Roll it so it protrudes out like that, and make the indent for the mouth area, so that would be the nose, or the top of the nose and the back of the head, and underneath is the mouth area. You can take a round pencil or whatever you have and just help smooth it out. And we want the tip of the nose to be flat, so I'm going to push it down so it's flat, and just take your pencil and just round out the head. I'm going to make the nose a little sharper and smaller. So that's his head. And now I'm going to make the little nostril, taking my tiny bit of clay, and this is a mix of pink and brown, just to give it a bit of shade. Cutting the tiny little pieces, roll the pieces into tiny little balls, and make it kind of oval-ish. Get it on your tool and put it on the tip of his nose, making sure it's centered and proportional and even on his nose. Now let's make his rosy cheeks, taking a little bit of the slightly darker pink, rolling it into little balls. We want it to be the same size. So you have little circles, flatten them out, and we're going to add it to the side of his face. Just flatten it. Now let's add the eyes, taking some white, and again, you do not need a lot. Their eyes are pretty small, so I'm making two tiny little white balls for the eyes, and flatten it. And we're going to place it right above the rosy cheeks. Make sure it's even to the other side. And let's add the pupil inside the eye. And we're just going to take a tiny bit of black and roll these tiny pieces in our fingers, and adding it inside our eye flatten a tiny bit. Repeating on the other side. So there are our eyes, and let's add the tiny mouth. Again, we'll use the darker pink. Use a tiny bit, roll a snake. And place it right underneath our nose area. Near the chin, and press it down. So our mouth is on, and let's make the ears. And I'm going to take a tiny bit of pink, same as my head, rolling it into little balls and little ovals, and make it tapered on one side. We're going to flatten it a tiny bit. And make sure it's even. So there are our ears, and let's add it onto our head very carefully. And smooth out the edges so it attaches to our head properly. So there's George's face. Now let's work on his body. Taking the blue, and you can use whatever shade you want. Warm it up in your hand, and let's roll it into a ball. So that's what mine looks like, and I'm kind of rolling the bottom so it's more circular than flat, and we want him to be able to sit. So we're going to make his feet sticking out towards the front, and you can test out the head to the body, and mine looks about right. His head's a little bigger, but since we're already done, and I can add more clay to the body if you want, or if I want, but I'm just going to leave it because I want him to sit shorter than Peppa. So this is my body, and that's what yours should generally look like. And now let's make his arms, taking our pink. And let's roll it out for his arms and legs. We're going to roll it out into a snake. So I'm going to cut some pieces for his arms, and they don't have to be that long. Make sure it's not too thin either. And we're going to cut out 3 slits for our fingertip. So on our snake that we cut off, we're going to put 2 slits and then split them out to create his little fingers. And we're going to smooth it out. Repeat for the other finger. then we're going to roll the arms out. So there are my fingers and arms. Make it pretty short. And again, we want it to be proportional to our body and even for both sides as much as we can. Taper it off on the ends. And let's attach it to our body. Going to put it on the side of his body and then roll it out. So there's one arm, and let's add the other one. Make sure you roll out and fix the fingers to the way you want it to look. So there are his arms on his body. And now let's make the legs. And we want it once again proportional to the body. And cut equal pieces, 2 equal pieces for his legs. And get some black. You can make his shoes any color you want. I'm doing black. You can do the red boots if you want. Rolling out the 2 pieces. And into ovals, making sure it's even. Flatten it a tiny bit. And then we're going to attach our legs onto our shoe by rolling out all the sides. So there's our second foot, and I'm going to cut it a little bit so it's shorter, and we're going to round it off and then taper it to fit under our body. Push it down on one side. So there's our legs, and let's attach it. Make sure it looks right before you roll it and attach it on the body. Make sure the placement is where you want it. And then roll it and smooth it out underneath. So there's our body, and we can make the tail. Take a tiny bit of pink and roll it into a snake. So there's our tail piece, attaching it in the back, and let's curl it. So there's his tail. And let's attach his head. Be careful you don't smush any other parts as you're putting the head on. Push all his neck area down so it's nice and firm. And I'm going to bake him for 20 minutes at 250 degrees. And I'll come back when I'm done. So here's George out of the oven. I hope you like him. Thanks for watching.